Murkrow has a fantastic and mischievous GSC spray. I wish it was viable in more tiers than just PU. Murkrow is one of the best Pokemon in GSC PU and an integral member of the metagame. This small crow may be lacking in some stats, but its offensive presence more than makes up for it. Murkrow is a strong mixed attacker that doubles as a pursuit user. It's one of the fastest Pokemon in the tier, barely outpacing the crowded base 90 speed tier. Murkrow's stat Pursuit is incredibly useful support for certain Pokemon and strategies. Its high speed and access to stab Drill Peck and Haze let it offensively check several Pokemon. Murkrow's typing even gives it some defensive utility, in spite of its bad defensive stats. It's very hard to go wrong with Murkrow. It's a reliable and dangerous offensive Pokemon that's easy to fit onto teams. Let's analyze the Pokemon of Darkness. As mentioned earlier, Murkrow is used as a mixed attacking pursuer. It has high attack and special attack, as well as a good move pool. Murkrow has access to Drill Peck, a reliable, high base power stab flying move that feasts on the likes of Hitmontop, Machoke, Venomoth, Tangela, and Sunflora. Murkrow's high attack stat means that targets neutral to Drill Peck, like Furret, aren't safe either. Hidden Power Dark is a serviceable stab dark move, hitting Pokemon like Ghastly, Drowsy, and Abra super effectively. Barely anything resists Dark, and nothing resists the combination of Dark and Flying. It's difficult to switch into Murkrow long term, especially when spikes are up. Murkrow is also very fast. Murkrow crucially outspeeds the several base 90s in GSC PU: Furret, Poliwhirl, Venomoth, Abra, and Golbat. Murkrow is one of the only Pokemon who can stop Poliwhirl, since it outspeeds it and hazes away belly drum boosts. It's similarly effective at revenge killing the dangerous Venomoth and Abra with its stab moves. Haze has other uses beyond Poliwhirl. It lets Murkrow combat Curse Hitmontop and Furret, Swords Dance Seaking, Beedrill, and Cubone, and Agility Apom. Haze Murkrow is one of the biggest pains for Baton Pass teams. It can haze away Apom or Ariados's agility boosts and then threaten them. A fast haze user like Murkrow is very useful for offensive teams as a backup answer to setup sweepers. The most valuable move that Murkrow possesses, however, is Pursue. Pursue is one of the best offensive moves in the game, and Murkrow is a fantastic user of it. Murkrow is the owner of the strongest Pursue in GSC PU. Murkrow is pretty reliable at removing Pokemon weak to Dark, such as Ghastly, Abra, and Drowsy. Removing these Pokemon is very beneficial for certain strategies. For example, Furret no longer has to deal with Ghastly walling its Curse Talk set if Murkrow can remove Ghastly. Curse Hitmontop appreciates Abra and Drowsy being removed by Murkrow. Elekid and Seadra appreciate Murkrow's ability to remove Drowsy. Abra and Ghastly can target Murkrow with super effective coverage moves, but Murkrow's higher speed keeps it reliable at pursuing them. Pursuit isn't just support either, it powers Murkrow up offensively. Murkrow forces out a number of common Pokemon, like Venomoth and Tangela. As they switch out in fear of Drill Peck, you can pursue them as they switch for a solid damage. You can do a lot of stuff with Pursue. If a Pokemon is at low HP, you can pursue them as they try to flee. If a Pokemon is in range of even a stay in Pursue, you can Pursue and guarantee a KO if they stay in or if they switch out. This prevents them from trying to sneak in a rest later on. Don't underestimate how strong Murkrow's Pursue is. It's stronger than Hidden Power Dark if the foe switches out. It's a very nice offensive tool to have, and its support is very useful. Pursuit makes Rapid Spin easier to pull off, since you can remove the solid spin blocker, Ghastly. Murkrow has other options I haven't talked about. Miracle Berry is a great alternative to leftovers, given how much Murkrow hates paralysis. You can switch into Pokemon like Venomoth and Tangela with much less fear holding Miracle Berry. Murkrow doesn't miss leftovers that much, given how frail it already is. Murkrow can switch its hidden power to water or ground. Both moves are primarily picked to deal with Magcargo, but they have other uses too. Hidden Power Water sweeps away Rhyhorn and Geodude, while Hidden Power Ground 2KOs Elekid. Thief is a decent option on Murkrow. Pokemon like Magcargo and Furra hate having their leftovers stolen. You can even run Thief with Miracle Berry. After consuming your Miracle Berry, you can then use Thief to steal an item. Murkrow can use moves like Nightmare, though that's getting into gimmick territory. Given its offensive nature, Murkrow is perfectly fit for offensive teams. It greatly appreciates spike support from Delibird, making its Drill Peck more difficult to switch into. The aforementioned Furra, Elekid and Hitmontop appreciate Murkrow's ability to remove their checks. Murkrow appreciates Pokemon that can switch into its two most common checks, Magcargo and Elekid. Seadra, Hitmontop and Seaking can switch into the former, while Flaffy, Sunflora and Hitmontop can come in on the latter. Murkrow can be used on defensive teams to remove the spin blocking Ghastly, and to provide haze support. The final thing to bring up with Murkrow is its small defensive utility. Murkrow is immune to Psychic and Ground, letting it pivot into attacking moves of these types. Its grass resistance also lets it check Growth Sunflora and Tangela. Despite how good Murkrow is, it's not a perfect Pokemon. Its defensive stats are poor, even by GSCPU standards. A majority of the common Pokemon in GSCPU can 2KO Murkrow. Pokemon with stab super effective attacks, like Elekid and Flaffy, easily OHKO it. Speaking of Elekid, it's a common Pokemon that outspeeds and ravages Murkrow. It's even good at switching into Murkrow, since it resists Drill Peck and Hidden Power Dark fails to 2KO. Murkrow's poor bulk often forces it into a hit and run playstyle. Murkrow can't afford to take many hits, meaning it often has to hit its opponents on the switch and then switch out. Murkrow is also far from uncheckable. The common Magcargo is a solid answer to it, and Pokemon like Flaffy and Furra can check it too. Murkrow really hates status if it doesn't run Miracle Berry. Pokemon you want Murkrow to pursue, like Drowsy and Abra, can inflict Thunder Waved. Our paralysed Murkrow is unsurprisingly terrible. Regardless, Murkrow is one of the most defining and influential Pokemon in GSCPU.